All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into a little bit of a bird situation we got going here on the LPDS compound. We get into a few LPDS current events. I have something to say about stuff, a couple things. I thought it was gonna be one thing I was gonna say. I have something to say about the Yankees. I do, but I also have something to say about some other stuff too. I want to bring up. So all that plus an interesting Cage fact coming up right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti. It's a show that talks about nothing but finds the lessons in everything, and we have a good time doing it. At least we try to here. Hope everybody had a good week. Mine was pretty decent. Back on track. Feeling just about 100% after being sick previously, so that's been good. I do have a little bit of residual fatigue, I guess you could say. I'm still, I don't know why. I wasn't really that sick. I didn't feel that bad, but I guess it just does a number to you. So I don't know. I'm feeling abnormally fatigued at the end of some of these days, but it's getting better each day. So I just imagine it was from that sickness, but I'm fine now. Um, I do also I've been stocking up on the top tier water. If you're looking here in YouTube land, I got my Mountain Valley sparkling water back glass bottles to keep the plastics out of my body, keep my perineum, well sized as it should be, and keeping myself healthy and trying to do it in style. It's really, if you ask any of my friends who hang out with me regularly, this is probably the most bougie thing I buy. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm trying to be objective here too. I don't buy anything in style. There's nothing I buy that's, oh, this is a high end, I don't do any of that. This is really it. If you were to look at me and you just looked at my refrigerator, you'd be like, who does this guy think he is? But if you look at the rest of my house and everything I own, and then you looked at my fridge, you'd be like, oh, this guy is giving himself a taste of the good life because he otherwise lives like a pauper, if you will. So I'm happy to get these back with it. Whenever they're in the store, I buy them out. They usually only have about 10 on the shelves, but whenever I go grocery shopping, for whatever reason, I go every single time I go to the grocery store, they are at the end of their stockpile of everything. And I got it in different days too to try to time it right. Like, oh, I'll go midweek. This is when they're going to restock. There's not a lot of people coming to the grocery store. This is a perfect restocking day, and I'll get full on stuff, and I miss it every time. So when they do have the stuff like that I like, which is this water here, I take care of business. I pounce on it. That's basically the only good thing. The only other stuff that I would buy that you can make the hypothesis that I'm a little bougie is all food related. It's my sparkling waters. I don't buy grocery store coffee. I get coffee shipped to me every month. That's just right now, that's just Stella Blue. I've gone Death Wish, I've done Black Rifle, Stella Blue, I've done Voodoo Coffee is a smaller place. I've done Luke's Coffee. I think it's called Luke's Coffee. The guy, what the hell is his real name? I forgot. He plays Luke in Gilmore Girls. And Luke in that show owned a diner. He had coffee. There was a coffee shop, whatever. He makes his own coffee now in real life. So I order that occasionally, but I don't get grocery store coffee usually. I have a tin of decaf for when, my parents or relatives come and they like decaf a lot, and I have like an emergency tin of espresso that I got from the grocery store. Otherwise, I order coffee, and then I get I get pasture raised eggs, which is, I guess, considered a little bit bougie because they're a little bit more expensive. Because I like the cage free and the organic. Those are sort of like they're fraudulent in the egg community. There's different guidelines and regulations on what is considered to be cage free and free range and organic, all those different words. And cage free really just means as long as like chickens are in like a pen with 10 feet of space around them, that's considered cage free. Same with free range. They have their own little thresholds and dimensions of what makes it free range, and that's also not really that much bigger. It's kind of fraudulent. But pasture raised is the most free and natural that they can be. Pasture raised is like a higher end. You can't be titled pasture raised until you meet a way more chicken friendly, farm friendly criteria to be in the pasture raised. Now, sometimes my grocery store will have what they call heirloom eggs, which are like the different blue and browns, those different color of eggshells, just because they're as natural as you could get without pulling them from the chicken yourself. I like to get those. And when you crack them open, they're a different color. The yolk is a darker orangey kind of color as opposed to the standard white eggs that are bleached, and those are steroids eggs. Those are GMO eggs. Those chickens have 3 heads and 5 legs. They're just they're factory eggs. Factory chickens, factory eggs. And you can see the yolks are like paler. The eggs are usually smaller. They're not as nutrient dense. And they got who knows what other crap in them. So I spend a little extra money on those eggs. And then my desserts. With the exception of Reese's, and when I go out to like a restaurant, I'll just order the dessert, whatever they got there. But when I buy my own desserts, I'm either making them myself out of all real ingredients, or I'm buying like I have these shortbread cookies now. They're from Scotland, products of Scotland. I think they're called like Walker's Shortbread Highlanders. Real ritzy looking in a plaid in a box that's got plaid around it. And I buy those because the ingredients are flour, sugar, shortbread. I like that. It's 3 ingredients. That's it. There's no preservatives. There's no fake chemicals. There's no food dyes or natural flavors or anything like that. No nonsense. No fake sugars. Nothing fake about it. It's not great for you. It's dessert. You don't want to just eat cookies. That's not part of a balanced diet. But if I'm going to eat dessert, I want it to be real. So either I make it myself or that's what I buy. And when I buy Reese's, I know there's fake stuff in that, but that's my favorite fake candy dessert. And I buy the little minis now. I don't even buy the full ones anymore. In fact, I even buy the mini eggs during Easter's to minimize it. I'm trying to minimize eating the crap. And if I'm going to eat crap, it's going to be as healthy as possible, or as natural and real as possible. Anyway, long story longer, I'm very happy to have these back and not the peasant waters from the plastic bottles. So we're there. Speaking of which, though, I finished up I did the 16-week training plan with my friend who's also the personal trainer, the fitness coach, who's doing it as a side job, and he wants to eventually take it on as a full-time gig. So I signed up with him for the 16-week program. That was the diet that I talked about and the workout plan. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you could see it on my success list each week. It was the diet workout plan. That was the plan. It just finished up. It was great. I have to say, objectively speaking, it knocked out all the goals I wanted it to. My main goals were one, to get educated on an appropriate diet and workout regimen for me to make it a lifestyle change. So not just to I want to cut 20 pounds or I want to get 22-inch arms. Now, my goals were to learn more about the diet and what my body needs as far as like the macros and what what carbs and protein and fats you should be taking in, what kind of food, how many calories for what I'm trying to do, and when I should eat throughout the day. I needed education on that. I needed a professional to help me, a coach to help me with that. And then the specific workout regimen that was going to get me the fitness goals I was looking for, which was to gain some more muscle mass, not to do like a bulking cycle or a cutting cycle, but to slowly be able to gain muscle mass without gaining fat and also cutting out any of the extra fat and to be able to tighten up and tone up in the process. So from that perspective, it did a great job. Like the program was awesome. My trainer buddy, Refined Fit on Instagram, was awesome. He has a great program. He customizes everything for you and for your exact specific goals. So it was great in that regard. I didn't cut the fat off my midsection, like all of it in the 16 weeks, but I also knew that wasn't going to happen in 16 weeks. It takes my body longer to adjust for the stuff like this. But I have the process now in place to reach that result. So I accomplished the goals, absolutely like 100% in that regard. So I'm very happy. I was a little bummed though. I was a little bummed because the last week I was sick and I was excited. The last week and a half, or like the last, end of this of week 15 and week 16, I was sick. So week 15 was like go hard in the paint on the lifting. And then week 16 was like they call it a deload week where you're going to the gym to get your reps in and get work done, but it's a recovery week. It's an active recovery type of week. And I'm a little bummed because I was sick for it and I wanted to come in and take these cool progress pics and look big and ripped. And I was looking a little deflated. I was feeling a little deflated too. Uh, so that's just more of like a mental thing in my own head that I gotta figure out and work through. But all in all, it's a great program. That's why I don't have the beard or I got the stubble now. I shaved the beard because my first progress picks the first week, I didn't have a beard and we wanted to keep it looking like the same because we didn't want any artificial enhancements. This is not fake crap that my buddy is trying to peddle here. He wants to show real results or real not results. Like it's honest. If they didn't get the gains or the cuts that people were looking for, got to be honest. He's trying to run an honest. How you doing? Honest side business right now. Honest business in general. No side, just honest business. So we wanted to keep. We wanted no artificial enhancers. And let's be honest. As much as I don't like the maintenance of a beard, I think I look okay with a beard. I probably would look a little bit better with a beard. Some would say, most would say, than without it. Especially if I've had a beard for a while and then I get rid of it and it looks weird because it's like, oh, what happened to your beard? So we didn't want any sort of those enhancers to make it look like, oh, well, he just grew a beard and started flexing in this picture, and that's why the before and after looks so different. No, we did the same exact pictures taken every Sunday, basically at the same time, depending on where I was in the country and when I had the time to do it. But basically the same time every Sunday, same pictures, same poses, same room I did it in, everything. No flexing. It was just standing there with either my fat gut out or my gut losing weight, whatever it was no flexing. Forward pick, side pick, back pick, bang. That was it. So I don't know if he's going to post those results. If he does, I'll probably put it on my Instagram story. I will say this, though. When I look in the mirror, I see a difference. I don't know if people around me see a difference or notice a difference. Nobody's really said anything except for like two people, and they're my brothers. So they could just be hype, being good hype men. But when I look in the mirror, I could feel a difference and see a difference. And when I put a shirt on, I could see like I'm getting some progress here. When I take the pictures, I can't see it at all. I see zero progress from week to week. I can't I don't notice it at all. It almost hurt my confidence too much when I was looking at these pictures and like I'm not making any progress. But in real life, I feel a little bit better. So if you are looking for that in your life, not just gym routine, but a way to change your lifestyle for the better in the physical, mental, emotional health world, following the big three, if you will. I couldn't recommend him more. Nick Moise is his name. We were brothers in arms in the military. We're in the same unit together. We went through a lot of shit together. Uh, so I trusted him right off the bat. And not only did he provide a custom workout program and a custom diet for me, he was there for the accountability each week, each every step of the game. We would change the diet if he felt, if we felt things weren't working as optimally. We would upgrade stuff, downgrade, like it was the entire time you had somebody in your corner. And in those times when you're doing a new thing in life, and during those times when it's the easiest to just quit because you're uncomfortable, especially in when you're changing your food intake, a lot of times, and this exactly happened to me. I talked about it previously. I started gaining weight fast because I had to eat way more than I was already eating in my life. So I was gaining weight fast. I was looking fat. I was feeling fat and bloated. And that's a confidence killer. That's a mental killer. And that's when a lot of people quit. Is they're like, oh, this is not working. I'm getting fat. I don't want to be fat. I'm out. And that's when most people need that accountability buddy to keep them on the path, and he's there for that. And he'll communicate with you in the ways that you receive communication the best. And that's something we worked on together from a leadership perspective. Is he's not, I like direct, no nonsense. Hey, fatso, you're eating too much. You got to adjust this. Hey, you're not working as hard in the gym as you should be. You need to push it a little bit or take it back, whatever. I need that direct, no nonsense, brutal feedback. But a lot of people don't like that. They can't handle that. They take it personally. They get their feelings hurt, whatever. It's your life. It's your feelings. Got it. He adjusts for that. He has a very effective approach and framework to coaching and guiding and leading people through these journeys. And they're tough journeys. So all in all, great experience. If you want that, if you want information about that, let me know. DM me, text me, hit the hotline, 202-670-1114, whatever. He's awesome. And he doesn't live here in Texas. He lives in Maryland. So you don't have to be in person to do it. You just got to do it. And he creates workouts depending on like what equipment you have at your gym or your home or whatever. Everything is custom. Great. It was great. I'm very happy with the process and the results, the goal attainment so far. And I'm excited to keep going with it on my own now that I have a great foundation to keep pushing to get where I ultimately want to be. So, all right, moving on real quick. I've seen this commercial a couple times now, and I don't know if other people have seen it, but somebody should sue. Steve Carell, Michael Scott should be suing this company. It's a commercial for this company called Rue La La. RUE La La. I believe they have a website. I know they have a commercial. And Rue La La is like an affordable, stylish shoe store that you can purchase stylish shoes for cheap online. Now, it's a great idea for people who want style without spending extra money for just a name brand or whatever. But it's Michael Scott from The Office. It's his Shoe La La store, his business idea. It's the exact thing, except they call it Rue La La. They just changed the name very slightly, but everything else about it is the exact same. The only other difference is I believe Michael Scott's idea was for a men's shoe store called Shoe La La, like classy, professional men's, elegant men's shoes called Shoe La La. This is Rulala. I think it's more geared for women, but I think it's also for everybody. They also have, slightly more. I think they have purses, like accessories to go with the shoes, but it's mainly for shoes. And it's called Rulala. Now, again, great idea. They're actually doing it in real life, whatever, but you stole the idea. As if they could just come out in the commercial and be like, listen, we took this from Michael Scott and we ran with. We made it a reality for the people. I'll be on board with that. But you gotta give props to the guy behind the idea, and that's Michael Scott, Steve Carell, one of the greats, one of the best to ever do it. Not quite the best, but one of the best. Probably my number two. Anyway, moving on. Very quickly, spearhead leadership. Some people have been asking for how things are going, and I appreciate people always, supporting and following up and stuff like that. I love that. I am in the process of taking the content that I've made and the old calls, the recorded calls from the community page that I had, and I'm going to move it over to a Facebook group. I made a Facebook page. I'm probably going to just delete that page and switch it to a Facebook group for people to join if they want. Right now, the Facebook page, you can like it and follow it, but you can't really do much in it. It's just for updates and stuff. So I think I'm going to make it a Facebook group for people to join that way. And then if I do live calls, I'll put the Zoom link in the Facebook group as opposed to the community. Everything will be the same except in Facebook. And I'm going to do that for a number of reasons. Number one, you got to pay for the community page. And the community is free. I want the community to be free for anybody to join if they want. And if they feel like learning about anything, they could go to the Facebook group or a free group to go do it. Now the page is free for them. I have to pay monthly a pretty hefty price for that platform. It's a little too expensive in my opinion, for what you're getting. But it was good in the beginning. It is a good platform, but it's also an extra step for people as well. So I want it to be as easy as possible. Again, the point of the group for the spearhead side, the point of the group to begin with was not to get people to pay exorbitant amounts of money. It's for people who want to continue learning and growing and bettering themselves on the leadership side of their lives, for their jobs, their relationships, whatever. But they don't have the thousands of dollars for the one-on-one consulting and mentorship, or they're not in a business that's providing it or whatever. They don't have the money and they don't have the time to dedicate all that effort and hours for that stuff. So I want it to be a community where people can come in, they can dial into a call. We could talk about different topics. They can ask their questions. They can bring up scenarios that they're dealing with in real life that we could talk through, and they could get that guidance that way right on the call, or they can listen to a recording of a previous call to try to learn some stuff. It's very informal. It's just something for people who want to learn and grow and improve, but don't want to break the bank to do it, and want it to be also part of their lives. Because if they have to change too much timing and spending and this and that, we're setting them up for failure. So I want this to be successful for people and free for people so they could get some value in their lives without having to sweat over the finances behind it. The one-on-one folks, if you want to work one-on-one, that's not free. But you're like the value you're getting out of that is, you're investing in yourself. You're going to get a lot more out of it because there's a lot more time dedicated to it, and it's for you specifically, not cookie cutter for everybody. Anyway, I'm doing that. That's the update. I'm moving that over from the community page to the Facebook group soon, so I could cut the community page. It's one less step for people. Most people don't have profiles on circle communities, but most people do have Facebook groups, and this is going to make it hopefully easier for people to chime in, to dial in whenever they want. It's easy. They don't have to sign up for anything new. They just have to click join group and they're in. And they'll get the announcements when there's a call or there's new content or there's question posts that people are asking, and they can do whatever they want in there. They don't have to do anything extra. So I'm trying to cultivate that type of community. And Facebook seems to be the most effective way to do that because most people have Facebook, and I could do all the stuff I'm doing on the community page, on the Circle community page anyway. So I'm in the process of moving that over, which means I have to adjust the website a little bit and direct where the website directs you, and I have to make some new videos for the website, which I've been procrastinating a little bit too much on. So I got to do that. So that's all happening behind the scenes. Again, people have been asking. That's why I'm telling you. I'm not saying to go join the group and hire me. Blah blah blah. It's just I have very supportive fans in the LPDS. You guys are awesome. I think like everybody that listens to this show asks me. It's 100% people care. That's what I love about you guys. You're all ride or dies. It's the people who don't tune into the LPDS for the most part that don't care, don't support, don't care as much. But you guys asked, so that's sort of the update on the Spearhead side. And I'll keep you posted if you'd like as we continue to progress and try to grow things so that we can help as many people as possible. And if you do have anybody in your lives that is looking to talk about improving themselves on the leadership side, this is not self-help in the side. Like, this is not motivational speaking. This is not life coach stuff. This is very specific principles that will improve your regular life, but these are leadership principles. It's not the standard like life coaching mentorship that you see online a lot right now. It's not the Tony Robbins stuff, which is great. That's like, oh, we're gonna change, the way you think and feel about yourself. And then, he also has a business end where it's like, hey, let me help you build and grow a business. I'm not helping people build or grow businesses. I'm helping them lead their lives better, lead their organizations better. That's what I do with the organizations I work with, is all leadership specific. It's not process improvement. It's not fire these guys and we're going to make you more money. It's no, this is how you lead your organization better as a whole. And then we get down into the weeds on how people do it on a daily basis. And in turn, the results are you're going to see more success. They're going to make more money. The profits are always end up being there. Those are results. Those are not the goals of what we do. So if people are trying to get better in general, feel happier, if they're depressed or, they're dealing with anxiety, I don't recommend that you refer them to me. It will help. Incorporating leadership principles in your lives absolutely helps in that regard, but there are better people out there for that 100%. If people are trying to build and grow and scale a business, there are better people out there to help guide them through that. But if people are trying to lead their lives better, be a better supervisor or manager in their company, their organization that they work for, or they're trying to get promoted into that role, hit me up. You get LPDS, free LPDS for calls, consultation calls with those people if they come from you guys. So if people want help, I'm here to help. Anyway, that's the Spearhead leadership updates. Thank you guys again for asking all the time and supporting. One more thing very quickly before we get into the cage. The Yankees. Now, by the time this episode posts and by the time some of you guys tune into it, they're going to be done with their series against the Atlanta Braves. As of the time of this recording, they've played one game against the Braves and they're getting ready to play a second game in the next couple minutes here, because I'm recording this on a Saturday. They've had an abysmal 2.5 weeks since they played the Dodgers. It's been abysmal. I'll tell you why. Yes, they beat the Royals. I think they beat 2 out of 3 against the Royals. And they're still better than they were last year. And their attitude is still great. I still love their attitude. but this is from a skill perspective and the tools they have in their tool belt as a team. Because, like I said the last time, they're just not good enough. They don't have enough good arms in the bullpen. They don't have enough consistent hitting 1 through 9. They're not dangerous lineup. They have a couple guys who are dangerous, and that's it. They don't have enough of that stuff to beat winning teams. They lost. They played 4, let's see, Dodgers, Red Sox, Orioles, now Braves. 4 teams with winning records. And then they played the Royals, who I don't believe have a winning record. There's only 10 teams with a winning record right now in the entire league still. And they've lost every series against those teams with winning records. They took 2 or 3 from the Royals. They should have swept them. They didn't, though. And they lost 2 to the Dodgers, 2 or 3. They lost 2 or 3 to the Red Sox. The Red Sox are barely over 500. The Yankees snuck away with the first game, and then they got waxed the next 2 games. The same thing against the Orioles. They snuck away with 1 win in the first game, and they got waxed the next 2 games. I think the third game they lost like 17-5. They got absolutely obliterated. And then the first game against the Braves, they got walloped 8-1. Now, hopefully they make me eat my words and they beat them the next 2 games and win that series. That would be huge for them. Even though the Braves are a little bit down, all their 2 best players on the team and in the league really are hurt out for the rest of the year. But they're still a good team. They're a winning record team. They're a playoff competitive team. And the Yankees just can't seem to beat these teams. They can't win series against. They'll sneak off a 1 win here and there, but they can't win the series. And that's what you need in the playoffs. You need to win the series. It's not just one off. It's not like football. Just one. We just need 1 win, 1 time. No, you need to win the series. And they are not postured to do that against these good teams. And Clay Holmes still stinks. Still stinks. They played the Orioles. The first game they played the Orioles, when the game they actually won, they were winning 4-0. The Orioles didn't get a run off of any of the pitchers. I think that game, Nestor pitched 6 scoreless, no walks, 6 strikeouts. The bullpen, I think did Ian Hamilton come in? Maybe Luke Weaver. I don't exactly remember who came in the bullpen in relief. Tonkin, another no-name guy, like a bunch of just no-names that are stepping up right now because of injuries and other stuff. Nobody got it. No, the Orioles couldn't do anything. They put cardiac Clay Holmes in there, and first batter base hit. I go to take my dinner plate to throw it in the garbage. Okay, I get up off my chair. I'm eating on my snack table, so I'm watching TV. I'm in the living room. I get up, I walk over to the kitchen, which is open floor plan, open. So I'm walking, I can see the kitchen from here. It's about 55 feet to the garbage pail. And then another 10 feet over to drop my fork in the sink. I come back. He gave up a hit, and the next pitch a home run, and they were now only winning 4-2. And then the next batter gets on base. And then the next batter, it was like a diving play to prevent the hit. Like the fielders he didn't strike out 1 person. Everybody, he faced 6 batters, and all 6 batters put the ball in play. You cannot do that as a closer. You can't. It can't be impossible for you to strike people out. And right now it's impossible. He can't figure out how to strike people out and just shut the door on people. Still can't do it. Now, I know the Orioles are good. I got it. But he couldn't do it against crappy teams. He blew it against the Angels. He blew it once against the Royals. He can't do it. We have to get a new closer. Stop anybody who's saying, "Oh, that's my closer. He's shutting it down." You're lying to yourself, or you're stupid. You're either trying to trick yourself or you're stupid and you don't know ball. Clay Holmes has got to go. I love the guy. He seems like a great guy, and he's got nasty natural talent, nasty natural stuff. It's crazy how he can't figure out how to get people out with the movement on his fastball on the slide. I say it every week about this guy. There is no reason why he shouldn't be the best closer in the game. He's got nasty stuff. He only has to do it for one inning. They wouldn't be able to adjust. How are they so successful against a guy they've only seen once in a game? He has to figure it out, and he could be dangerous. Right now, he's dangerous against his own team. Got to figure it out. Anyway, I hope the Yankees get different arms in there, get a new, some better arms in the bullpen. I hope they get somebody at people at the bottom of the lineup. They got to get rid of Gleyber Torres. He stinks. They probably should get rid of DJ LeMahieu. He has gone so far downhill since he signed his contract. I can't believe it. The guy used to be the best around. They need batters at the bottom of the lineup to help the guys at the top of the lineup because they can't do it all. When they have bad days, that's when the team loses because they have no help at the bottom of the lineup. And they need some bullpen arms so that they can actually compete against these good teams. Anyway, I hope the best for them against the Braves. I want them to beat the Braves. I need them to keep winning. They need to do it against winning teams, though. All right. Now let's get into the good stuff. Not going to be too long here, but it is the good stuff after all. So we'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Wieners, Wieners, Wieners. Are you a fan of a good old-fashioned hot dog, but also need an emotional support animal to be out in public because your parents raised you to be a mental midget? Well, now you can feel safe by heading on over to your local Wieners, Wieners, Wieners. Wieners, Wieners, Wieners is an all-new hot dog shop that not only makes any custom hot dog that you want, but also has a pan full of Dachshund dogs for you to pick out and have at your table as your emotional support dog while you enjoy time out in society. So you can slide down your favorite style of glizzy while giving belly rubs to Rolf the Wiener dog without having to pop 6 Xanny bars to do so. So to get your wiener fix today, Google Wieners in my mouth and hands to find the nearest Wieners location to you. And if you use the promo code Glamorous Glizzy, you get 29% off your first order. Yeah, if you like hot dogs and dogs, go to Wieners. I do like a good hot dog. What I like to do, and I don't know if I've ever talked about this before, probably years ago, I like to do the Al Scalingi when it comes to hot dogs. That was my grandfather, my mother's father, rest in power. He would first boil the hot dogs in beer. Now, I don't necessarily like a boiled hot dog, or otherwise I'll eat a dirty water dog at a hot dog stand and whatever, at a baseball game or whatever, but I prefer it on the grill. Well, he does both. He boils them in beer, gets them nice and plump and soaked in that frothy beer goodness, and then puts them on the grill. Or if it's raining out, we'll put them in the oven, but we'll put them on the grill to get that nice char, that crisp to it. And then we'll load those bitches up with whatever your heart desires. He always had, he had relish, mustard. If you like ketchup, I'm not necessarily a fan of ketchup on my hot dog, but sauerkraut. If we were getting crazy, we would have a little chili on the side there, some cheese, some grilled onions, whatever. I would just go to town on them. So if there's a place like Wieners around me and they customize, that's what I would want. I want you to boil it in beer. I want you to grill it. And I want you to load that puppy up. And I'll take at least 2. Now, it's going to take me a while to eat it because I'm a little guy. I eat slow, but I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to have, Rolf the dog next to me to hang out. So go check it out. Anyway, the Cage fact. So I'm pulling up this quote here from Nic Cage describing his character. Excuse me. Now, that the movie has been pre-screened. The Long Legs movie has been pre-screened for, critics and film festivals and what have yous, but it hasn't been. It's not to the public. It's not out to the public yet until July 12th, which I'll be going to check out. But in the trailers, they have not revealed Nic Cage in the trailers except for like a quick still shot just to give you a taste so you could start speculating what he looks like. And they did that on purpose. And Nic Cage described it as, I'm reading through this article here. Um, they're talking about how they're hiding Nic Cage behind the curtain, and then they're gonna pull the curtain. That's the big reveal. When you see the freak that Nic Cage's character is, they want it to be a surprise, a shocker to you. And he said when the metaphorical curtain is pulled, Cage said it very might be the end of the world. He said it's the equivalent of putting a warning label on a jar of nitroglycerin. And he continued, here's the rest of the quote. The monster is a highly, highly dangerous substance. The way it's moved, unveiled, deployed has to be treated very carefully. Forget about the movie theater blowing up. The whole city could blow up. Nay, the country, maybe even the world. He is going to change your reality. Your doors of perception are going to open, and your life is not going to be the same. That's how Nic Cage described his character in this movie. Now, I know I'm biased. I know most of the stuff I hear from Cage or about Cage, I think about it in a positive light. But again, when Nic Cage is given a role and let off leash out of the cage to go be his full authentic self in a movie like this, a horror thriller movie where his character is a sadistic, sick serial killer, and it's Cage's interpretation of that sick, sadistic serial killer. And they're purposely not releasing what he looks like or any teasers about it at all until you watch the film. And then he describes it like that. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm so fucking ready for this movie to come out and to see this in action. And I maybe I'm getting my hopes too high. Sorry, Terrence Family Show, I dropped an F-bomb. But Cage doesn't normally describe his characters like that. He describes what he did to prepare for the character and the weird Nic Cage stuff that he does to get into a certain role and to live that lifestyle of that character. But he doesn't normally describe it as outrageously as this. So, July 12th, get ready for Long Legs. I'm going to see it. You could come with me. You don't have to come with me. I almost don't want to I don't want to really invite people. I just kind of want to go and enjoy it. So if you want to come and watch it with me, we're not going to all watch this together. I'm going to watch it. You can be around. I don't, we don't have to talk about it. No, I don't want to hear your thoughts on it until after the fact. I don't want to be unnecessarily influenced one way or another about, from people's opinions going into it. I just want to be me and Cage. So that's the Cage fact. There you go. Man, I'm getting tired again. Moving over to the Junction, we'll spin the logo up. So this won't be too long. We have no hotline questions, by the way. No hotline calls this week. I'm always bummed when we don't get hotline calls, but I also know that the majority of the hotline calls, when I say majority, I mean 100% of the hotline calls over the past 3 weeks, even a month, have been from the same two people. So they need I feel bad that they feel that they keep having to do that they feel the need, to keep supporting. I love the support and I appreciate them doing that, but there's no obligation for them to keep up that tempo. So we have no hotline calls. Long story short, there's no hotline calls. It is a nice break though because everybody everybody gets a break to hit the reset button, think of new jokes, think of other things they want to ask. It's all well and good for everybody. So, um, but I do have a bit of a bird situation that I'm dealing with here that I wanted to get your take on. And who knows, by the time this comes out, maybe it handles itself. I don't know. I don't know how long it takes for birds to grow and mature and learn how to fly and stuff. So what we got going on here is it started out with me taking out the dog out in the backyard. Every time I take the dog out, I go out there with him for a number of reasons. One, because I don't want him to go chase down and eat squirrels. So I still, I use those as training opportunities. Also, I don't like, there's certain parts of the yard that if he's running around in, he's getting all dirt all over him. And I'm trying to keep him away from those spots. And I got to train him to stay away from those spots so that I don't have to keep cleaning him every time we go out. And then it's also an excuse for me to get outside and get some sun. I usually de-shirt, get out there, get a quick 5 minute hit of sun. So everything, everybody wins. So it started out with us going outside and this one bird following us around the entire yard. And when I say following, my yard is a horseshoe around my house. And as, it's as literal as that. It's there is a patio of paving bricks on one side, and he goes to the back of the house, and then there's a whole yard going across. If you're looking at YouTube land, I'm trying to map it out with my hands here. There's a whole yard, grass, trees, what have yous, and then the other side is more patio paving stones, and there's a little bit of a Trex deck. There's French doors by the kitchen on that side of the house. It's if you're in the backyard facing the house, it's the left side of the house. So the west side of the house, there's a nice little patio area that's made of the Trex porch material, not wood deck. But it's a horseshoe. So Randy will run around on each side. Well, sometimes I'll walk around both sides to make sure, like, to check on the weeds there. If there's anything, if branches fell, I got to clean it. I want to keep it clean, obviously. So I'll do a walk around. Well, this bird followed us around the whole horseshoe, and he was using different vantage points. She, I guess, was using different vantage points to follow us. First, it was on the roof, and then it would cross over to the other side to the fence ahead of us. And then as we continue to walk around, it would get onto a tree branch, then onto the power line, then back on the roof, then back on the fence, and follow us all the way around. And I went back and forth. I ended up going back and forth on purpose a number of times to see if this was just a coincidence or not. And it was no coincidence. This bird was following us. And it kept happening. I go out my back door, my back gate to go to the gym. So when I was going back there to go to the gym to go through the gate, she followed me again. And then when I got in there, as soon as I got back into the yard, started following me again and hawking me. Real quick, by the way. How great is it that I get to use my back gate to go to the gym with no issues? I mean, that lady at that management company must be losing her mind if she's paying attention to the security cameras and she sees my happy ass day in and day out using that back gate that she tried to ruin and shut down, and we beat her. Anyway, this bird is hawking me. Finally, one day I see what looked like it was a toddler aged bird. I think they call him a fledgling. I know they call him a fledgling. I'll tell you why in a second. It's not a baby. It's not fresh out of the egg. I've seen those before where they're just skin and beak living in a nest. This bird is out of the nest. If you're looking at YouTube land, it's like this big. The mom is this tall. and this one is about half that size. So it's been alive for a little bit now, and it's got like the what was described to be my Mrs. Wetcat. She described it as Larry David hair on the top. It's like a fur and some feathers. Initially, it looked like if you just looked at it real quick, you're like, oh, this is a bird who just got beat up. It got to a gang fight with other birds and got its ass kicked. It looked all banged up. It had some feathers, some fur. There wasn't a lot going on with the wings. They were just kind of limbs without most of its feathers, and it was just sitting in this tree, my one small tree. Now I know it's a fledgling because I posted when I saw the first bird. And I think I got a picture of it, or I got a video of it uh sitting in there. And I was like, this bird looks like it got into a tussle with other birds. It got banged up and it can't fly. And now this other bird is protecting it. Now, logically, you can make the assumption, oh, this is a baby bird that doesn't know how to fly yet and doesn't know how to live on its own. So this is the mama bird protecting it. I just continued the joke of like, this thing got beat up and I got this one bird protecting it, and I got Randy who wants to go and make best friends with every animal, and by that I mean he accidentally will grab you and chew you if you're a little rodent because he doesn't know how to play with rodents like that, and he wants them to stop running, so he'll catch them, and then the next thing you know, they're not alive anymore. So we had that situation going on. I posted about it on Instagram, and for whatever reason, the bird community is very serious about their birds. They're almost as, I don't want to use the word crazy, but this guy commented to make sure he let me know it's a fledgling baby. It's a toddler, like a toddler bird. It's a fledgling. It wasn't beat up. He goes, make sure you protect it and keep it safe until it grows and matures. Like, first of all, that's not my job to protect this bird. That's the mother's job to protect that bird. That's Darwinism. Survival of the fittest. They got to figure it out. Sorry. Second of all, and more importantly, it's in my yard. The birds are safe. Animals are safe back there. There is nothing besides a hawk that can come and get. I don't have snakes in my yard. I don't have deer. I don't have coyotes. I don't have wolves. Some call them coyotes. Some call them coyotes. I switch it up depending on how I'm feeling that day. I don't have wolves. I don't have bears. Nothing. Nothing. No snakes. Nothing. That bird is protected. That bird and his mother, all they have to do is sit there until that poor bastard grows up and can handle his own and fly away on his own. And they would be safe. And Randy's really not going to do anything. The bird's not moving, so Randy doesn't care. Once the bird starts running away, that's when he's like, no, I'm going to force friendship on you. So the bird can't move. So no harm, no foul. In fact, Randy didn't even notice the bird has been in the tree all week. So don't worry, bird guy. Now, the bird community is starting to look like, because I keep getting hit up about these damn birds, they're starting to remind me of, I guess you could call it the baby community. When babies are born, there's a community of people that are obsessed with the babies, and to them every baby is adorable and cute. And you can't say anything even remotely against that sentiment. And not even saying remotely negative, just against that sentiment. If you don't think that baby is the cutest thing you've ever seen, you got to keep your mouth shut, or else they'll eat your damn head off. They'll come at your throat like you disrespected their mothers. It's a crazy community. These people are crazy. I happen to be in the other community where I think most newborn babies are ugly. And that's okay. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with them. Not everything in existence has to be cute and adorable and good looking. And it's not. In reality, it's not. Okay? I looked like Yoda when I was born. I was blue. I was goofy looking. I was too tiny. I don't look much different, but I'm not blue anymore. But that's the way it is. It doesn't make me a better or worse person by any stretch of the word, of the term, at all. I'm still me, whether I am good looking or not in somebody else's eyes. And frankly, I don't care what you think about my looks. I like my looks. It gives me character. But not everybody or everything has to be cute and adorable. And they're not. It's just not. It's not reality. That's not real. That's impossible. That is impossible. And I don't want to hear about like, oh, but it's new life, it's newborn, so it's cute in that regard. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the happiness and the positivity that comes with bringing new life into the world. That's all well and good. I'm talking about aesthetics only. That baby looks like an alien. This baby, it's got too much hair on its arms already for a baby, so it looks like a weird looking like possum thing. And again, that's okay because they're going to change. They're going to grow and evolve. I looked like Yoda, which is like an alien science fiction being. That's what I looked like. And again, that's okay. It doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make somebody a bad person for thinking that. It's an opinion. Now, do I make sure I make that comment to people? Sometimes if I don't like that person, that's where I need to bring the big three in and be less of a dickhead in that regard. But sometimes I've done it in the past where if I don't like a person and they shove their baby down my throat, oh, you look at this baby. You gotta look at this baby. Isn't it gorgeous? No, I'm sorry, it's not. And I got to wear the consequences of that because I know they're going to be down my throats about it. That's fine. Whatever. I'm sorry. Not every baby's good looking. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal. It's not your fault. Maybe it is if it's your baby, your genes. I don't know. But that's what I was getting from the bird community. It's not beat up. It's just a fledgling. It's an adorable fledgling. It's new life and this and that. I was like, it's not even your kid. It's just a bird. And if you think a baby bird that has half its feathers, not even half, some feathers, some skin, like you're getting ready to cook a chicken leg is just skin, and some Larry David fur on top of its head, and the wings that they have are just the skeletal structure of wings because there's no feathers. So they just look like weird stump arms that they're trying to flap around. They're ugly, and that's okay. They're going to turn into beautiful birds. Have you seen a cardinal? That deep, bright red, it's incredible. But that ugly bastard was disgusting when it was a baby. They all are. There's no further, just skin and beak. They look like weird dinosaurs. Stop being so obsessed and defensive of birds. I'm not trying to kill the bird. I'm not trying to eat it. I am trying to protect it. I'm keeping it safe. I'm making sure the mother feels safe and protected, as she doesn't have to come and swoop at anybody. It's still an ugly, disgusting looking thing. So get off my back. I'm not changing my mind about it. Stop being obsessed with birds like that on the internet. It's not even your it's not your baby. It's not even your bird. It's not a pet bird I'm dogging on. It's my bird. It's more my bird than it is your bird, buddy. So I could say whatever I want about my bird. Get over it. The bird community has to get over it. I'm sorry. They're just birds. Okay? And I'm sorry if you can't find a significant other to have a kid with, and that's what you're projecting. But it's almost like, thank God, because then you'd be part of the crazy baby community that's going to go jump down people's throats for telling you the truth about your ugly baby. And these are the people who have ugly things as babies. That guy is having an ugly baby. There's no doubt about it. That guy's having an ugly baby. That guy is not having anything good looking at all. He's having a ferret for a baby, if he's lucky. And I think we're all lucky, and that baby's lucky that he doesn't have anyone to procreate with right now. Because that would be probably an ugly, angry baby, too. But anyway, moving on. A day later, after I finally see this ugly bastard, a day later, I see a second ugly bastard. And now they're hanging out with each other. I don't know where the original nest is. I don't know why they weren't together to begin with, but they're together now. And they switched over. They switched trees to another tree. This tree is a little bit more dense and bushier in my yard than the one that they were in before, so I can't really see them. I tried to take a video to find them, but I couldn't find them. And if I get too close, if I start sticking my hand through, the mama bird swoops in and tries to go after us. So I don't look. I could kill that bird if I wanted to. Even if it swooped down, I just grab it really quick. And I would say like quick, like I'm quick. I'm quicker than this bird. If it gets close to you and in contact, I can swat it down to grab it or step on it. Like I could get the bird if it's coming at you. If it's just flying, I have no chance at getting a bird. I'm not trying to brag about having this crazy ability to catch birds from the sky. But if a bird comes at you and is purposely hovering around you and is close, yeah, I could get it with a towel, knock it down, and trap it. I've done it before. So it's not like I've never done this before. I have been attacked by birds before, a bird before. I didn't kill the bird, but I took care of it. Like I got it away from me. Anyway, it was a similar situation. I think I was younger, or it was years ago anyway, and I guess I was too close to a nest that had eggs, and this bird was coming after me. I didn't even see the nest. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But I got it. I got the bird away, and I got myself away. Anyway, I don't want to do this to this bird. I want this bird to be able to raise its toddler birds into self-sufficient adult birds. So I don't want to mix anything, mix signals and go searching around for these birds. The only thing I will say though is, and the bird community would probably back me up on this because they're in love with birds, but birds are pretty smart. I know crows are like one of the smartest, but birds in general are pretty damn smart. So the only thing that's annoying right now is, this has been over a week of these birds trying to grow up and fly on their own. And every time I go out there, I got this mama bird stalking us, coming in for the kill. So the only thing that's annoying is this bird should be smart enough to know, like, hey, you've seen me and Randy before. You've seen these two figures enough, maintaining safe distances, protecting everybody, everything's copacetic. You've seen that enough to be able to build a pattern of life and realize, oh, these two beings are not a threat. Something else might be, but these two are not. They have come and gone several times because they're not like goldfish. They're not, or like 10-second Tom where they just forget immediately. Birds are smart. They remember that stuff. So you would think she would remember, but I guess when you're in survival mode like that, protection mode, you're just blind to that. Like your brain is not firing on all cylinders. It's firing on survival mode, which is like your brain shuts down to its most basic stupid form, and it's just, I got to protect. That's all. That's my only thing. The only thing the brain needs to do is protect right now. And maybe that's why. So she's not using her long-term memory, her pattern of life part of the brain or muscle memory to be able to build that pattern of life inside so that she feels comfortable around us. That's the only thing that's slightly annoying. Otherwise, we're doing a very good job leading through this situation to make sure that these birds are safe. Randy's safe from getting pecked to death by the mama bird, and that the mama bird is safe from anything, on her own. There could be hawks up there. Like if a hawk comes down to take one of these birds, that mama bird is not going to be able to win against the hawk. It might be able to take a couple jabs, but that hawk is coming away with its food. So we're trying to navigate through. I don't know how long this is going to be, though. Maybe by the time you guys hear this, it's done. They're flying, they're gone. But I don't know how long it takes for these birds to grow up and grow their feathers fast enough to be able to use them to fly away and fly on their own. Because as of earlier in the week, 5 or 6 days before I recorded this episode, they're not flying anywhere. They're walking around. They're doing a couple of jumps that their little like dinosaur arms are able to get them to float a little bit, like the Wright brothers plane, just a little bit, enough to kind of hop to the next tree or whatever. But they're not able to fly over the fence and stay up in the air and get their own food or anything like that yet. So, but they've been hiding in this one thick tree, and I can't find them. I just know that every time I go out there, the protective team is out there. So I know they're still around because the mama bird's still there. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. You can call the hotline and call them in 202-670-1114. You can DM me, you could text me, whatever you got. If you have suggestions on how to optimize this situation, make it most safe for the birds. I don't want to give them any food. I don't want to get too close if I see them, because I don't know if birds are like rabbits. If you get too close to a rabbit's nest with little bunnies, you get your smell on there. The mother is gone. She's leaving that for dead. It's like, oh, this is enemy smell. I'm out of here. I'll go make other rabbits some other time. So I don't know if the birds are like that too. So I certainly don't want to touch these baby birds. But I don't know if I get too close, even if I'm trying to give them a worm or some crap, if it's going to be problematic. The only thing I will say I'm not taking at this time is I don't care if you think the birds are cute babies. They're not. They're not good looking. They're ugly baby birds. They look mangy, and they look like they've been beat up. And again, that's fine. That's what babies look like. They're coming out of these birds were living in a shell, an eggshell. We were living inside someone's stomach and their uterus for 9 months. Of course, we're going to look ugly and weird and goofy when we first come out. Give me a break. But if you have help, let me know. Otherwise, that's all I got for today, folks. I don't know how long I've been yapping, but that's all I got for today. Before we go, very quickly, the big three, the 3 pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being, and being able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you. Number 1, exercise every day. Whether it's a physical, mental, or emotional exercise, do one thing each day to improve your health and fitness physically, mentally, emotionally. Now, I will say this, though. A good physical exercise, which I don't recommend you do every day. You gotta have a rest day, even if it's an active rest. I know the Bone Crusher would never agree with me on that, but he's more of a man than me, so I always take an active rest day. An active rest day means I'm out doing a walk, or I'll hit the sauna. I'll still do some sort of slight activity, but it's giving my muscles a chance to rest. Anyway, doing a good physical exercise, a physical workout, whether it's a gym session or it's a cardiovascular, they said 3 times a week. If you do 3 times a week of getting your heart rate 130 or above for 30 minutes, 3 times, just at least 3 times a week, that's one of the healthiest things you could do for yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. So I always push the physical fitness a little bit harder because it has the positive effects on the other 2 sub-pillars of exercise. That whole look good, feel good, play good thing, it's real. If you're feeling good, it's because there's a reason. After you get done working out, you get the chemicals that are the good quality, positive chemicals surging through your body, the dopamine, all the endorphins, It's suppressing the cortisol, which is the stress chemical that gets you stressed out and also kind of makes you fat. It suppresses that. You get the good chemicals surging through your body, and you start feeling better. And then you want to keep doing it again. You keep and it's a trickle effect, trickle down effect. So I'm always going to be a strong proponent of physical fitness because it's physical. It adds to your physical, mental, and emotional health and well-being. But you could also break specific mental sweats, reading books, doing crosswords, learning a new language, a new hobby, doing a puzzle. And then the emotional side of the house, you could do meditation to clear the mechanism a little bit. You could do you could pray if you're faithful, if you have a religious faith you believe in. You can do breath work that also clears the mechanism and gets you out of sort of like out of your own skin a little bit. So do something like that for exercise every single day. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. It's the hardest one to do because it involves going against your emotional feelings in that moment. And when you're in the moment, in the heat of the moment where you have angry emotions or negative emotions, you're almost like blacked out and in a zone, and you almost can't think for yourself at that point. But you have to know your physical triggers when you start feeling those ways. And I've talked about this a little bit in the past, but the physical triggers that your body does when you're feeling angry, what does your body do? Does your hair on your arms stand on end? Not mine. I shave my arms. Do you get butterflies in your stomach? Does your heart rate go up? What are the physical things your body does when you're angry or when you're feeling negative emotions? You use those as your trigger, for lack of a better term. Once you start feeling that, you should know, like, oh, I know I'm getting angry. Now is the chance for me to remove myself from the situation, take the LPDS step back so I could detach from my emotions so I'm not reacting emotionally and just omitting myself from this negative situation because I'm only going to make it worse. I'm not going to make it better. You never make the situation better, ever. Even if you feel like, oh, I needed to get that off my chest, you always feel that sort of regret afterwards, like I shouldn't have said that to that person or I shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. Just omit yourself from that situation. That way you're minimizing the shit and negativity and you're allowing yourself the capacity and the free space to go do more positive, productive things with your lives. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. Gratitude, genuine gratitude. It's a life changer. If you take the time each day, even one time a day to start off, to think about one good thing in your life or a good person, a good memory, and think about what your life would be like without that and how shitty would it be. Getting into that state of gratitude makes you feel so much better about things. Problems become less problematic. You start getting angrier or less. The shit and the crap in the world that used to stress you out or make you feel angry or get annoying or whatever it was, or get you annoyed. That's what I really meant to say. That stuff won't matter as much because you'll be in that state of gratitude. You'll be thinking about all the good you have in your lives as opposed to taking advantage of the good and assuming it's expected and just thinking about the shittiness going on in the world and in your lives. Actively focusing on the good things and being grateful for those will reverse that. That's what I'm saying, for lack of a better way to say it. And if you couple that with not being a shitty person and being a kind person, if you couple that with exercising every day, I promise you, you will be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being, and you'll be able to contagiously spread that goodness and positivity to everybody around you. Good is just as contagious as bad and negative. It really is. So spread the good, spread the love, as Eccentric says. If you don't know Eccentric, go look him up on YouTube. Look up Eccentric. Not America's Got Talent. what's the singer one? American Idol. American Idol eccentric. Spread the love. You'll know what I'm talking about then. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell your friends and enemies. Hit that hotline, 202-670-1114. Call it in, questions, comments, jokes, bits you're trying to run and review and see if they're funny. Whatever you got. Angry calls, troll calls, I'm here for it all. 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.